Sometimes I really have to scratch my head in my choices in gaming. What I play and when. I've known about this game since it was released. A close friend of mine was all about it, showed it to me and everything, and I thought it looked sweet. That was 11 years ago. Some years ago, I bought said copy of Odin Sphere from said friend. I was going to sit down and play it a couple times, but then I heard about this HD remaster, and I decided to hold off again. I played this back in fall of 2016, but with the Cartridge Club covering this as their Game of the Month for February of 2018, I thought this would be the perfect opportunity to finally talk about Odin Sphere, Leifthrasir. Church here, and welcome to the Game Grinder. Today we'll be reviewing Odin Sphere, Leifthrasir. Odin Sphere and its HD remaster were both developed by Vanillaware and published by Atlas. Vanillaware have some highly praised releases under their belt, with the most notable being Muramasa and Dragon's Crown besides Odin Sphere itself. Odin Sphere was originally released in 2007 for the PlayStation 2, and the HD remaster was released for the PlayStation 4 in June of 2016. In the land of Arion, there is a prophecy of an impending apocalypse, the end of the world as we know it. A once powerful kingdom of Valentine was once destroyed by a creation of great power, the crystallization cauldron, which has caused the many regions to fall into war over this device. So begins the Cauldron War. Odin Sphere is a 2D action RPG. In its simplest form, it's a side-scrolling beat-em-up with a leveling system focused on attack skill acquisition with a strong narrative direction and story focus. Throughout the game, we'll play as various characters with stories that intersect. As each character, we'll play through a series of chapters, 6 each, as well as a prelude and an epilogue. Each character's tale covers different events, sometimes with a cause and effect to others, and once completing all character quests, they'll merge into an epic conclusion. Let's briefly meet our cast of heroes. We're introduced to a power struggle that's consumed Arion as we first meet the forces of Ragnarval, under the rule of the Demon King Odin, as Gwendolyn, Valkyrie warrior and daughter of Odin, discovers her elder sister has fallen during battle. In the kingdom of Titania, Prince Cornelius wishes nothing but to be with his love, a witch of the forest, but finds himself in the underworld, now in the cursed form of the Puka. In the fairy forest of Ringford, the young Princess Mercedes has no choice but to take her place as queen when her mother falls. Oswald, a Shadow Knight, serves under Melvin, the advisor for Queen Elfaria, and finds his life has been traded for the power he wields. Lastly, we'll play as Velvet, the orphan daughter of the destroyed kingdom of Valentine, who seeks to end the coming destruction of the world. Gameplay consists of visiting the various regions of Arion. Each region is laid out in a series of sections. Sections have branching paths that we'll use to progress through. Some sections are shown as a circle, which wrap indefinitely until we use an exit, and then we have the straightforward square rooms. We're free to proceed through the areas and backtrack at will. We can also revisit and leave the areas as well. Within the sections, some are shown with crossed swords. These are the battle stages, and where the main bulk of our gameplay will happen. These usually involve a wave of enemies to dispatch, and depending on how well and fast we do this, we'll get an overall ranking, S and A through F. S rankings reap the most rewards, experience, items, and Valentine coins. It's ideal to do big combos, utilizing skills either power-based or Phozon, aka magic. Phozons are a huge part of the game's story, magic casting and leveling as well. Phozons are gained from defeating enemies, and sometimes we may find plants that will allow us to draw Phozons to grow other plants. There are also Phozon butterflies that can be absorbed, and we can even craft Phozon potions. Besides gaining experience to level up, Phozons can be used on various seeds we will find during the playthrough, which once planted will bear fruit. This fruit can be eaten for large chunks of experience. We can also use the fruit combined with recipes found to order meals from the Puka Chef for even bigger experience rewards. Phozons can also be spent on the skills we unlock to boost their level of effectiveness. Of course, leveling boosts our overall performance, damage, defense, health, magic, and power, but also yields power points that can be used on additional character perks like faster movement, special passive abilities, or discounted shop prices. Each character has a pretty large skill tree, with abilities unlocked by completing the battle stages or finding chests hidden through the regions. These are either power-based skills or magic. The power-based skills basically use stamina, which will slowly recharge. We also have the magic abilities. The magic doesn't automatically recover like stamina, but we can craft potions to restore it, or as we gain phosons, the meter will fill. There's a wide variety of skills to make use of, and the game enables us to set a series of button commands to pull these off, but we're limited to a set amount of combinations using the circle button and the analog sticks. This adds a level of strategy and customization to our playstyle. I mentioned items, so let's run through that. Odin Sphere has a large focus on crafting potions, but it's not the tedium of many crafting games. We'll find empty potions that we can then add a series of vegetables to, and even other potions, food, or even items that change what they do, or the effectiveness. It's a very simple and straightforward system that will have to be relied on to make it through the game, creating our healing items or status effect items, whether attack or defensive. We can also purchase items, potions, components, food, and the essential area map from vendors we encounter in the various places we visit. Lastly, there's the Valentine coins. These are given as a reward at the end of combat rounds and can be spent at the puka cafes. Just like the chef, we can get huge experience from the food items, and there's one additional catch. The game really has two endings, a good and a bad, but the good ending has additional scenes to show if we've collected all the Valentine coins by finding hidden chests and getting S rankings across the board, as well as finding all the recipe and lore notes. I got the good ending myself, but didn't get all the hidden items. Fortunately, there's YouTube. At the beginning of the game, we'll start in what appears to be an attic, filled with books. Here we'll find a young girl, Alice, and her cat, Socrates. This acts as the game's hub of sorts. Each of Odin Sphere's main characters have a book. Once completing one storyline, another book will appear. Alice will read the books to access each story, and previous ones can be accessed again. Also, on the bookshelf we can browse lore notes and food and alchemy recipes we've found. This is really just a novel presentation for a menu system, but the thoughtfulness into something a little more is definitely appreciated. I'm not going into any great detail about Odin Sphere's story, as with each playable character's quests intersecting and affecting events all around the region, there's a lot to cover. Despite its heavy focus on the gameplay itself, Odin Sphere has a very rich and deep story to tell. Though some elements may be superficial on the surface, this is a story of the end of the world. There's betrayal, intrigue, conspiracy, war, and destruction. But even in the face of death itself, there's hope. The cast of characters are fully voice acted and may be a bit off at times, but I felt the actors did a fine job and made each personality stand out. For the first few hours of the game, I'll admit I felt a bit confused taking in this massive war and the significance of all the players involved, but as I progressed and the pieces started to come together, I found myself more and more enthralled in the story and wanted to see what would happen next. Visually, I'd say the game was gorgeous to look at. The hand-painted art style of the characters and scenery were detailed and definitely one of Vanillaware's strong points. You'll revisit almost every region with each character, and though the areas didn't necessarily change to any great extent, I never found myself tired of looking at the backgrounds. There's a lot going on, and I really enjoyed that. Masaharu Iwata was the composer for the soundtrack, and his pedigree definitely shows. He's well known for his soundtracks in Ogre Battle and Tactics Ogre, along with Final Fantasy XII and Final Fantasy Tactics. The orchestral music used fit incredibly well into the scenes and moods as needed, and there were some very standout songs for me. Along with revisiting the same regions multiple times, with that we'll hear some of the same music many times, and I had no problems with this. It's always great when there's a game that you've heard nothing but good things about for many years since it was released, and when finally playing it meets high expectations. Odin Sphere Leifthrasir brings a fantastic game to a new generation in HD, with its visual style that's pure eye candy, interesting unique characters, a winding and twisting story, beautiful visuals and music, there's no going wrong. The combat does get a bit repetitive, but I didn't really experiment much with the skills, so that could just be my own fault. If you haven't played it already, I definitely recommend Odin Sphere as a must-play. Now if I can just make the time to play the other Vanillaware games. Lastly again, I just wanted to mention the Cartridge Club. Think of this community as a book club for games. Like I said, they're covering Odin Sphere for February 2018, so they'll have a wrap-up podcast with guests and they'll be talking about the game in depth. I'd encourage you to head on over to their site and check things out. Maybe following months we'll have more games you're interested in getting involved with. Thanks for checking out my review of Odin Sphere Leifthrasir. What were your thoughts on the game? Let me know in the comments below. If you liked what you've seen or heard, please give the video a like, a share, and subscribe to see future videos. I'm on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram as well, and I post a lot of other great game-related content there, and of course, links are in the description. Until next time on the Game Grinder.